The England side chose 4 changes from the victory over Czechoslovakia, with Paul Gascoigne invited to continue where he left off then. Brian Robson and Webb are ruled out because of the cup final replay, but the manager Bobby Robson welcomes back Gary Stevens from injury and can include Waddle and Barnes again, though differently from before, with Barnes now invited to play a central attacking role along with Gary Lineker. But while England try to find the right blend for the finals, Denmark begin again under a new manager, Rikard Møller-Nielsen, who was the assistant to the now departed Sepp Piontek. His players perform in 7 different countries, including England. Kent Nielsen has just had a very good season with Aston Villa. Scottish officials in charge this evening. The referee is Jim McCluskey from Stewarton in Ayrshire. Promising match in prospect of a higher technical quality than last Saturday, but the absence of true competition, passionate involvement, seems to have limited the size of the crowd, and that rather supports the theory that some of these matches should be played away from the capital. Of the substitute players, the Arsenal pair, Rocastle and Adams, have most to hope for the chance. First touch for Barnes. Good challenge by Jensen. This is McMahon. And just away from Hodge. Anderson. Paulson. Man got the better of Bartram when it came to nerve. Gascoigne, shoulder to shoulder. Bartram turned surprised. Perhaps he needs reminding that it's a Scottish referee. Oh, poor play by Nielsen to tell the truth, but this is Barnes. Oh, what a pity. Did it bubble, or did he make a mess of it? Certainly embarrassed Nielsen, who jumped in and made a complete mess of the challenge, and Barnes carried on and was well wide for the shot. Well won by Paulson. Determination from Bartram. Nice footwork by Brian Laudrup. It's promising if he uses it well, and he does. Finds his brother, who slows things a bit, but here's Vilfort. Slowed things just a little bit too much, and good play again by Stevie Hodge. That's the sort of play which will probably persuade Bobby Robson he should be a member of the squad. Good attack, started by Brian Laudrup. His brother slowed it just a little bit, or perhaps the support coming from the right was a little bit slow. But Hodge certainly wasn't. Did he go over there? Questionable, but I think Peter Shilton probably just held enough of the ball over the line. On the right side, that is.
Well, as you say, it does highlight the benefit of having somebody like Steve Hodge, who's going to work back. There he is, taking a couple of deep breaths. Well deserved, because if you're going to play Gascoigne sort of in midfield, Paul Gascoigne alongside probably Brian Robson, then you do need, certainly if Chris Waddle's one of the wingers, to have somebody like Steve Hodge or Trevor Steven working back. And Steve Hodge might tonight be playing not only for a squad selection, but I think the starting lineup in that Republic of Ireland first game.
Nielsen. Brian Laudrup, good pace. Been playing his football with Bayer Uerdingen in the Bundesliga in West Germany. Said that he's going to move on from there. And showing sprightly movement, reminiscent of his brother when he played forward. But Mikel, who now plays for Barcelona, playing in midfield. Henrik Andersen, offside. Jensen a bit disappointed. Very, very close. When the ball was played, that's questionable. Jensen, handball by Walker, and signs that the Danes are settling down. 12th meeting between the countries, the 4th here. 3 previous ones all decided by the only goal, twice in England's favour, once in Denmark's. Once in Denmark's September '83 was crucial in the qualification for the European Championships of '84. For which England did not qualify. Brian Laudrup. Walker very nearly caught in the slips. Good break. Comfortable positioning though by Lars Olsen. Pass was intended for Lineker. 20 minutes gone, here's Lars Olsen. Brilliant tackle, but why did Lars Olsen take so long? 2 good opportunities the Danes have had, and 1 very questionable offside denying them. Free kick. Challenged by Jensen, goes to offer the hand, which is sportingly accepted. Best piece of play we've seen from Lineker to date. England with 4 around the penalty spot. Waddle leaves it, Gascoigne takes it, Barnes flicks it, and across the face of the goal with Lineker a bit more than a stride away. But the clear opportunities have really fallen to Denmark, particularly here with Lars Olsen. It was a brilliant tackle, but an earlier shot might have meant that it was too late.
In fact, both the 2 opportunities for the Danes. First one was to Henrik Andersen, who's a sort of defender, fullback really, and of course the second one, Lars Olsen, a centre-back. I think if it had been a forward, England might well have found themselves 1 down, but fortunately for them, both fell to defenders.
We said at the start, the England defence, which Mikel Laudrup is trying to unsettle, is set. It certainly seems to be in Bobby Robson's mind. But of course, defence doesn't only include the back 4. Walker. Gary Stevens. McMahon. Not to be seen. Good switch. This is Sieverbeck. Great break from the back. Butcher alongside Sieverbeck. A third, in theory, defender to have an opportunity. A very good break. And a few red faces in the England camp at the moment. Waddle. Is he stung by that? Hodge makes the run. Too late to play it now. Paulson. Brian Laudrup. Beautifully shielded, not the best of challenges by McMahon. He only needed to stand in front Vilfort. The younger Laudrup is everywhere, including on the deck, courtesy of Steve Hodge. What Jensen did at one end, Hodge does at the other. Mika Laudrup takes it to Anderson, who strikes it poorly. After again, not the best of first touches.
Certainly, I think the impressive thing from the Danish point of view is the encouragement of defenders to run from the back like that, because if you play a sweeper system, of course you're going to fall for a defender to run through, whereas England's back four never really allows that to happen.
There is the sweeper. The Danish media were feeling that he was going to push in to be one member of a back four, but that's proved not to be the case. He's played behind two, with five in midfield, and anybody with the opportunity of getting forward. Butcher up forward for England, but on the set piece. Olsen. Good sweeping ball to find Vilfort. And here's Michael Laudrup. Well, he was quicker, but not accurate. But Muller Nielsen's side really are tearing England apart here, and if they'd have had the finish, they could have been 3 up. Good ball in. Flexibility that I mentioned at the beginning has certainly been proved. Butcher. Space for Pearce, in for Lineker, well claimed. And it said that Peter Schmeichel would like to play in England. He interested Newcastle at one stage. And he's being watched by, among others, the manager of Queen's Park Rangers on the England bench. Started well. Lineker. Gascoigne, everybody moving away. There's a hole to move into. And now they're hunting in packs, and it's Vilfort who nicked the ball. Onside, says the linesman. Barnes. Free kick. Well, the ball was in the air, and they both played it in the air. Schmeichel had to play it with his feet. It was just outside the area. Saved his side. It was a difficult bounce, both for attacker and the defending goalkeeper. This could be a Nottingham Forest style free kick. It is, but the curl was a bit too much. And I wonder too whether the push by Hodge was too much. There was a classic in the Littlewoods Cup in which Pearce scored a goal and there was a bit of pushing in the wall that wasn't spotted. Waddle. Nice instep, he can turn, he's pulled them well. But that lacked a little bit of conviction. Bobby Robson down on the bench a little earlier, and his face saying much.
I think it's probably mentioned to Don Howe that at half-time there'll be a few harsh words said, because it has really, looking at the first 45, been very disappointing. Almost a little bit exhibition match type atmosphere about it, and really none of the England lads really seem to have been able to get into the game, had an influence. The Danes have played a lot of possession football, had the best chances, the three defenders really, Olsen, Anderson and Siverbeck, the three best chances, and England really can't remember a direct opportunity on the goal, and that must be worrying when we're supposedly playing an attacking lineup.
Hodge. Right by Nielsen, a little uncomfortably. It's a corner, but that clearly wasn't appreciated by Siverbeck. And it comes in the last minute of the half. Ups the volume of the crowd a little bit. Good covering header by Paulson. And Bartram. Well played. Oh, pity. Free kick is taken. Mikel Adrup. Anderson. Support a little reluctant this time. Olsen. Brian Adrup. Waddle covering. And it's now a question of what Jim McCluskey has on his watch for stoppages. And the end of a first half which has been troubling to England, as the skipper, who can't play in this one, Brian Robson, was saying you have to first have a base. England haven't had that base, and they've been torn apart, and are really very lucky that they go into the dressing room at half-time with the score sheet blank. They could have easily been 3 down. Manager of the Republic of Ireland among the watchers. The Danish flag being prettily presented on Danish ladies, and their team has a different goalkeeper to beat in the second half. Chris Woods has taken over from Peter Shilton as expected, and also Tony Dorigo has taken over from Stuart Pearce as expected. And I wonder how warm it was in the dressing room. Here's the man who provided the words, and appears to be still doing so. England attacking the goal to our left. McMahon. Barnes. Use of the knee by Lars Olsen. No changes for the record in the Danish lineup. Won by Sivebæk. Didn't really make it in English football, Sivebæk. Not quite sure what that says about both the football and the player. Untidy tackle by Waddle. Kent Nielsen has come forward. Gascoigne. Good change of mind, I think it was, by Stevens. Nifty control. And at the moment, England starting the second half with Lineker on his own forward. Good play by Barnes. That's the way some people might like to see it, with freedom to Waddle and Barnes and tight little knot behind them. This is McMahon. Given away by Stevens. Walker. Going to give a touch to Chris Woods, or is he? Glasgow Rangers skipper deciding not to give it to his goalkeeper. Here's Dorigo. Angle of the cross was okay, but nobody was coming up on the edge of the box. Waddle. Interception was by Olsen. It's often been the case. Brian Laudrup, Michael, from the same family. Nicely dropped for Flemming Poulsen. Anderson. Vilfort. Brian Laudrup. Did well to get it across under pressure from Hodge. Michael Laudrup. Bring them back in numbers. 8 covering. Poulsen. Danes have had a lot of possession here, but finally England are given the ball. Gascoigne. Crowd enjoyed that. Doubt if Jensen did. That's a productive pass by Barnes. Bartram. Barnes. Well taken, little flick from Gascoigne. Gascoigne goes on. And got round Sieberbeck. A bit of basketball from Schmeichel at the end, but Gascoigne got the better of Vilfort then. And Schmeichel certainly did well to deny Gascoigne. Vilfort thought he had his man covered here, but Gascoigne got the better of him, poked with the outside of his right boot, and the goalkeeper was sharp twice. That's Michael Laudrup hobbling a bit. It's the man who replaced Gary Lineker at Barcelona. Scored a fine goal in the European Championship, but it proved to be very much the high point. Butcher. Looking for Lineker. No, he's not. He's coming down the left side. Now he might look for Lineker. He's moved to the inside right position, in line with the far post. Nicely played down the left side again. Hodge finding more space than most. Confident strike by Gary Stevens, and a good one. Kept it down well. Had no doubt that he was going to strike that as it came to him. Set himself, got the body right, and it flew just wide. Goalkeeper had it covered, I think it's right to say. We'll find that out now. Gascoigne. Forward for Hodge. Stopped by Vilfort. And Steve Hodge with every reason to be pleased with his performance. One by Walker. Gascoigne. And you could see from the start of the second half that Gascoigne intends to show that he has the same sort of technical qualities as one or two of the opponents. Little pull then by Sieberbeck. Quickly taken free kick, and again Hodge is free. Lineker! No! Yes, it's given. Yes, it's given. The linesman has run back to the middle immediately. For a moment then I thought it was going to be disallowed. Gary Lineker scoring in the 55th minute, his 31st for England. And looking in from the 18-yard line, yes, clearly over the line as it came down off the crossbar. And that puts Lineker clear of Messrs Lofthouse and Finney as the third England scorer of all time. Stevens. Butcher leaves it to McMahon. Gascoigne. Good play. Oh, it's a different stage now. Lineker's header. Well claimed. Gascoigne, precisely where Waddle wanted it. He turned with the curler. Lineker, good powerful header. Got up really well in front of his men. It was going wide. Vilfort for Denmark. Dorigo. Oh, nicely done. Robbie Robson might reasonably ask, if this goes on, why do you worry me like that? A totally different performance. Came out in the second half, determined to get on top. And that they now have done. Here's Hodge. Good play by Stevie Hodge, good try too. The Danish manager might well think about the left side. Smile on the face of Steve Bull. His right side with Vilfort here, certainly allowing too much space to Steve Hodge.
Yeah, Stevie Hodge has done well, and the whole English side has just moved up about 10 yards to where they were playing in the first half. They were too stretched from the back four through the midfield. Now they've all pushed up as a unit, making it much harder for the loaded, congested midfield of Denmark to get space to knock it around as they were in those first 45 minutes.
Gascoigne. Stevens, and again Stevens, well played, but not a good cross. Given away to Hodge. Vilfort is having a pretty torrid time at the moment. Walker took time when there wasn't too much and looked class because of it. And here is Waddle from Lineker, but Waddle is offside. Got it raw from the other end, but it wouldn't have counted. And Bobby Robson wants the control turned into a little more on the score sheet. Peter Beardsley, one of 3 substitutes warming up. There are also 4 from Denmark. And it looks like a running track. That's Hansen, Tony Hansen. Jensen. Anderson. Jensen. Laudrup. Laudrup, the other one. Come for the return around the Rigo, didn't get. And good save by Chris Wood from Henrik Anderson. Excellent stop by the Rangers goalkeeper. And Dorigo has one in his debit balance, but he was beaten by some really class play. Here's Maman. He hesitated for a moment. The ball seemed to stop a little bit. And Woods made to run quite a lot, but it was an excellent save. Brian Laudrup getting in the cross in spite of the attentions of Dorigo, and Woods had a lot of ground to make across his goal, and he did. The bounce down and then up of the ball was on his side, but even so, an excellent save. Break from midfield. Oh, Gascoigne didn't see it, but then he's not sitting up here. Dorigo. Gascoigne. Bobby Robson won't want him there. Taking passes off the back four is not what this is about. McMahon. Dorigo. Stevens. Walker. Cut out by Jensen. Brian Laudrup. Michael. England pushing up, and that was enough to halt the attack. John Barnes. Still, regrettably, one has to say, not the Barnes of Liverpool. Really is an enigma in the England shirt. Has done some brilliant things, but hasn't been able to show his true form when playing for his country sufficiently often. His 51st cap this evening. Go on, prove me thoroughly wrong. Dorigo, it's good cross. Lineker too much on the header, really. Very good cross with the ball. Very good player coming forward, Tony Dorigo. But there's a second side to a fullback's job, and two substitutes waiting to come on. One of them was Morten Brun. Back. Michael Laudrup. Which are forcing him across. Paulson. Termination from Gary Stevens.
Quite a steady game, Gary Stevens, actually, and the shot he had and the use of the board shows that he's growing in confidence now, because I think a few months ago, perhaps the right-back position was one being looked at, but I think he's consolidated that now and set for the opening game.
Gascoigne's pass, which picked out Lineker. This is Waddle. Gets the better of Anderson outrageously, but sadly, I think the cross, actually, I think the ball must have gone out, because the linesman very quickly indicated a goal kick. So I think the cross may have been one of frustration rather than intent. And a whole handful of substitutions being made. Oh, Waddle has gone off. And Fleming Paulson has gone off. Lineker is going off. And England bringing on David Rocastle and Steve Bull. David Platt is to be given an opportunity. Winning his 4th cap. Steve McMahon he replaces. So all the substitutes now used. Bartram, Walker. Walker's becoming one of those players who always seems to have a good game. Certainly the time that he's played for England. This is cap number 16. He's had a few moments that he can view with disappointment. We're into the last 5 minutes of his 16th cap, and for the man alongside him, Terry Butcher, he's now reached 3 score caps and 10. Still a fixture in the side. Nearly. Bartram it was. Given away by Gascoigne. Jensen! And Jensen disappointed. So were they on the Danish bench. Another good stop by Chris Woods. Mistake by Gascoigne, who was caught shimmying. And Jensen struck it well, and it was turned by Woods. Neatly done. Brian Laudrup again. Again, some good play by Dorigo.
That was one little moment of madness for Paul Gascoigne that Bobby Robson, I'm sure, was going to pull him aside in the dressing room and said, you don't do a nutmeg, as we term it, trying to put the ball through the player's legs on the edge of your own penalty area in a World Cup. That could be very, very costly.
Here's Rocastle. Stevens. Gascoigne. One thing you can say about the England manager is that his face is never uninteresting. It's always worth a good read. Actually, a lot of other things you can say about him too. I might suggest it's only that. Brun. Olsen. And the Danes will look back on the first half and wonder how they got lost. But the rather strange cliche that's often used, that it's a game of 2 halves. It always is, of course. But what's intended by that remark has certainly been true this evening. The first half belonged to Denmark, the second half, with the odd moment, has belonged to England. Stevens, and they've scored the 1 goal. Rocastle, Gascoigne. Change of pace. An attempted change of feet. Finished up in neutral.
Yes, Gaz was just thinking back, Bobby Robson's just thinking to himself, now what was he trying there? I'm sure Gazza knew, but on that occasion didn't quite come off. But Gazza will say, well, you've got to try these things, boss.
Free kick against Hodge. Maybe the last threat to the sequence, as far as Denmark is concerned, of the matches between the 2 countries here being decided by the only goal. Bartram. Won't even trouble the policeman on the dog track. Woods with time to replace the divots. And it's now 24 matches since England were beaten at Wembley, and the current run under Bobby Robson, unbeaten now in 17, with tonight a 10th victory, the only goal scored by Gary Lineker in off the crossbar. Minuses at the start, pluses at the end, Plenty of smiles from the England manager during the second half, and a few more thoughts for him to tuck away and sort out.
Bobby, what are the lessons of tonight?
The turn, the silky, deceptive turn, this one, was quite beautiful. Look at the way the opponent goes sliding through there. Of course, he spoiled it just a little bit. I think he was excited, but he'd made the position to get a shot, and he knows that's not his standard of shooting, and that's not something we really need to worry about. But possibilities for him up front, and one of the good things about the display, he thought quickly with the free kick, which gave England the goal that won the game for him, that builds confidence. Here he is now. Whoops, he's brought down a foul. He turned his man again and got loose. Gets up, boom. How about that? And Hodge, a lovely runner off the ball, always willing, and nobody better than Lineker to get in first across the defender and find where the goal is. Here it is again. You can see the turn. He'd beaten his man there and was pulled down. Quick thought, lovely time run by Hodge, and there's Lineker's great art, getting across a defender and not giving him a chance to get the ball first. So from that point of view, lots of good things about it, but I don't know whether that's going to convince Bobby Robson that when the World Cup starts in earnest, which is about 10,000 years ago, away yet, that he's going to start with that team. But an interesting little experiment.
Yeah, interesting points about John Barnes, but what about the rest of the squad? What would he have learned there?
Well, I don't think you can learn much tonight. If you look down and the first six, there's Shilton, Stevens, Pearce, McMahon, Walker, Butcher. Didn't learn anything new about them, except perhaps to confirm what a good player Walker has become. Now he's added confidence.
Didn't learn anything negative about them?
No, not at all. Hodge was a plus mark. You know, his running off the ball was very good and very alert. Gascoigne, I suppose, a plus mark. It wasn't the brilliance of the last game, but he didn't lose his head. He tackled well at times. He entertained the crowd here and there and showed the touches of class, which, you know, an imagination which bring the crowd to its feet. Lineker, or the usual Lineker. Waddle, we can understand why he, in the middle of just having won the French Championship with Marseille, you know, and got to play in maybe 2 rounds to finish the cup tie-off. Yeah. I mean, that's not easy for him emotionally to come back. And why he played at all tonight, I don't know. It's better not to play him, really.
Yeah. Chris Woods, though, he impressed once again, like he did against Czechoslovakia.
Unlike Bruce Goblar, maybe, and Jim Leighton, who, in front of the cameras, you know, were unlucky enough to make a couple of mistakes, he had the chance to make a save, which was very special indeed. And it played a part, of course, in England having another victory. This was a lovely ball from Brian Laudrup here. But look where Woods is on the near post. Not so much the save, but his agility, big fellow, getting across the goal, 8 yards that is, and saving it right by the far post. That was superb. That's the save for someone who wants to go to Italy.
And perhaps he booked himself a place there with that save and the Czechoslovakian performance as well, I'm sure. Jimmy, thanks very much. That's it for now. We'll have the Uruguay match in Sports Night next Tuesday evening, 9:30 next Tuesday. Before that, the FA Cup final replay, of course, Thursday evening, 7:20, Manchester United against Crystal Palace, 7:20 BBC One, and Wembley, I'm sure, will come alive again. Goodbye.
In terms of experience, this is the weakest Scottish team for years. Brian Irvine of Aberdeen and John Robertson of Hearts are both making their international debuts, and 6 of these players can only produce 21 caps between them. The absence too of Roy Aitken means a new captain. Celtic's Paul McStay becomes the youngest ever captain of his country at 25, on a night when Scotland face a Romanian team bristling with international stars. Since the World Cup, 8 of these 11 now play abroad with some of the biggest clubs in Europe. Popescu is at PSV Eindhoven in Holland, Lacatouche with Fiorentina in Italy, and Hadji with Real Madrid in Spain. But all have been released for this important match in European Group 2. Referee is 45-year-old Urize Azpitati from the Basque region of Spain, and his 2 linesmen are also Spanish. And Scotland kick off a match which marks the beginning of Andy Roxburgh's 5th year as the national team coach, and he really has had to pick up the pieces for this one, with 6 of his original squad injured. 2 retirements, Mo Johnson and Bett, and the suspension of Aitken. And recent performances on home soil by Scotland, of course, included that 3-1 defeat by Egypt at Aberdeen prior to the World Cup campaign. And this game being played in a Hampden atmosphere that is totally unusual. the crowd will barely reach more than 10,000. Mateusz. And Romania under new management. Georgi Constantine taking over from Chennai after the World Cup. That's a good ball forward for Petrescu, who couldn't quite keep it in. Came off a defender, and Romania with the first corner.